Welcome back to Wildcat Recap. As always, I'm Lucas Vargo.
And I'm Caedmon Foster.
It was a busy week of Wildcat athletics as the fall sports begin their postseason and the winter sports start their regular season. We'll break down all the action right here on Wildcat Recap. Let's start off with volleyball. The 8th-ranked Indiana Wesleyan volleyball team played 2 matches this week, the final regular season game on Wednesday and the quarterfinal match in the Crossroads League tournament on Saturday. Wednesday night's game did not have any implications as the Wildcats already wrapped up the Crossroads League regular season championship for the 3rd straight season. The Wildcats secured the sweep of Goshen College for the 47th straight win against Goshen. Wildcats finished the regular season 24-4 overall and the 1 seed in the Crossroads League. The stakes rose on Saturday as the Wildcats hosted Grace College for the conference tournament quarterfinals. The Wildcats got another sweep inside an exciting and electric Lucky Arena. Set 1 went to the Wildcats after going back and forth. The Lancers showed dominance at the net early, but the Wildcats responded to win set 1. The second set was the exact same way. The Lancers grabbed an early lead after capitalizing on service errors. The teams went back and forth until the Wildcats pulled away to take a 22-16 lead. After trading points, the Wildcats and Lancers delivered an exciting set point. Have a look at this. Wildcats win set 2. Set 3 featured a game of runs. First the Wildcats struck, then the Lancers. Finally the Wildcats rallied to win set 3 and advanced to the conference semifinals. Caedmon, you were on the broadcast for that game on Saturday.
Right.
What'd you see?
I saw 2 teams playing their heart outs, not wanting their seasons to end. Wildcats did come out on top. One thing I did want to note, you mentioned how Wildcats have dominated Goshen, 47 straight wins dating back to 2000. Grace was their opponent for this game on Saturday. They're 72-17 versus Grace all time. The last time that Grace had a multi-game win streak against the Wildcats came in the years 2000 and 2001. They were coached by current head coach for the Wildcats, Candace Moats. She coached Grace the last time they won multiple games in a row against the Wildcats.
She is no doubt a coaching legend.
She should be in the Coaching Hall of Fame, undoubtedly.
Tell me about soccer this last week.
I'm so glad you asked. Both soccer teams played multiple games this week. Let's dive into it. The 8th-ranked men's soccer team began their conference tournament journey at home last Tuesday night with a win in the quarterfinals against Huntington. Sam Gooden and Guzman Trigo each found the back of the net as the Wildcats defeated the Foresters 2-1 to keep their Crossroads Tournament championship hopes alive. The Wildcats then hosted the 20th-ranked Grace College Lancers in the tournament semifinals this past Friday evening. When these 2 teams met earlier in the year, the Wildcats went on the road and beat the Lancers for the first time in 6 years. However, this time around, it was the Lancers who won a nail-biter to move on to the final. The Lancers came out strong, firing off many dangerous shots, but goalkeeper Caden Wolf made multiple key saves to keep the game scoreless up until the 67th minute when Grace broke through. Despite going down late in the match, the boys fought hard and had a few good chances in the closing moments, but the Wildcats could not convert an equalizer and were knocked out in their first semifinal appearance in 4 years. On the women's side of things, the 6th-ranked women's team began their postseason journey with a convincing 3-0 win over Mount Vernon Nazarene this past Wednesday night. Second-half goals from Sarah Folk, Madeline Welker, and Sydney Couch propelled the Wildcats to the semifinals of the conference tournament. The Lady Wildcats played host to the 16th-ranked Grace Lancers on Saturday for their semifinal matchup. When these two teams met back in October, it was a 90th-minute goal that sealed the victory for the Wildcats. But on Saturday, the Lancers took advantage of a great opportunity in the 64th minute when they were awarded a penalty kick. They would slot home the goal to take the lead and ride out a strong defensive performance to notch the 1-0 victory. Despite having 11 total shots and 5 on goal, the Wildcats were unable to create any offense to support 5 saves from Avery Sluss. The Wildcats now await the draw for their national tournament first-round opponent. The soccer season is wrapping up, unfortunately, but Lucas, basketball is underway, and I know you're excited about
Basketball is my favorite time of the year. And we'll start out with the men's basketball team, as they have been in action for the last 2 weeks, and we get to feature them for the first time this week. The Wildcats opened the season ranked 6th in the NAIA. They won 3 games last week against Kuiper College, Indiana Tech, and Cornerstone. This week, the Wildcats played 2 games, and both teams were from Florida. We start off on Wednesday, where Florida Memorial made the trip up to Marion, Indiana to take on the Wildcats. The Lions brought the physicality early and held a lead for the first couple of minutes. The Wildcats adjusted and went on a run to claim the lead they held for the rest of the game. Look at Kevin Sakis get up for the dunk. A lot of free throws helped the Wildcats hold the halftime lead. In the second half, both teams exchanged runs. The Lions' intense pressure forced 18 Wildcat turnovers. But if they didn't get the steal, they were fouling. The Wildcats shot 42 free throws, the most in a game since 2017. Bontrager led the Wildcats with a double-double of 24 and 12. Indiana Wesleyan wins 78-66. The next day, the Wildcats played the St. Thomas Bobcats in the Battle of the Cats. Wildcats controlled the whole game. They built their lead in the first half as they went into halftime up 48-23, thanks to very efficient scoring, points off turnovers, and bench play. In the second half, Miller McCartney and DJ Moore started things for the Wildcats with buckets. Then freshman Julius Gizzi got hot. He hit 3 triples. He made 5 total in the game. The Wildcats made 11 total threes on 18 attempts. They shot 61% from behind the arc. Gizzi led the team with 21 points. Bontrager grabbed 6 boards, and DJ Moore dished out 8 assists, including a crowd-popping alley-oop to Bright Kari. Check it out. Wildcats beat the Bobcats at 93-68. After the game, I spoke with freshman Julius Gizzi. Where did you guys find success offensively?
Yeah, I mean, our focus the last week in practice has just been moving the ball, trying to limit dribbling in space, unnecessary dribbles. So just moving the ball offensively has been key for us, and getting post looks for Cade and crew, and then getting kickouts out of that. It's been really big for us.
And you put up 21 points. How's the adjustment been going from high school to college?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough at first. It's still super different, but playing with a group of guys that kind of tries to create for others and things like that makes it super easy.
You start out 5-0. How do you guys keep the momentum going forwards?
Yeah, I mean, I think just staying locked on the defensive side, keep getting after it in practice, and things will tend to go our way if we can lock in practice and focus on our habits.
And Caedmon, the basketball teams, they're both really young this year. Tell me about women's basketball.
That's right. Head coach Ethan Whaley has done a great job restocking a lot of that veteran production from last year's team. They played a couple of matches this last week. Let's go ahead and dive right down into it. On Tuesday night, the Wildcats hosted and dominated IU Northwest, beating them by a score of 95-56. Kylie Bettinger led the way with a career-high 17 points, while Emily Mattingly added 16 of her own points in draining 4 shots from deep. The Wildcats held IU Northwest to just 38% shooting from the floor and 27% from beyond the arc. The Wildcats dominated the offensive boards with 23 second-chance points and capitalized on 32 points off of turnovers. They never trailed as they convincingly took their second win of the year. The Wildcats continued their hot streak with an 85-51 win over Cornerstone on Friday night and followed that up with a 68-47 win in a defensive battle with Aquinas College this past Saturday. After this past week's games, Isla Krieger leads the team with 12.3 points per game and 6.2 rebounds per game. Coach Ethan Whaley has his team on a 3-game winning streak with conference play set to begin in just 2 weeks. Let's transition to cross country.
On Friday morning, the second-ranked Indiana Wesleyan men's cross-country team competed and won the 2025 Crossroads League Championship, marking the program's third conference title in the last 4 years. 5 Wildcats earned all-league honors after finishing in the top 15 individually. Trenton Sweet led the Wildcats with a 5th-place finish of 24 minutes and 34.4 seconds. The 13th-ranked Indiana Wesleyan women's cross-country team placed 4th at the Crossroads League Championship. They placed 4 runners inside the top 30. Sydney Little led the Wildcats with a 4th-place finish in 21 minutes and 47 seconds. That is her 2nd straight top 5 result at the league meet. Elizabeth Barrett joined her in the top 10, crossing in 10th place with a time of 22 minutes and 6 seconds. Let's shift things to the gridiron, where the 13th-ranked football team played Lawrence Tech for the final regular season home game of the year. The Wildcats started out with a bang. The first play for the Wildcats, Cameron Morrison took it 67 yards for the first score of the game. That was the only score of the first quarter. After that, the Wildcats got their high-flying offense in a groove. They put up 21 in the second quarter and 14 points in the third quarter. After 3 quarters, the Wildcats led 42-0. In the fourth quarter, Lawrence Tech finally scored with a field goal to avoid the shutout. But the Wildcats cruised to a 49-3 win on Senior Day. Arjun Lothe threw for 310 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Tight end Simon Vincent led the receiving corps with 146 yards. Moses Fullingham rushed for 117 yards, but the headline featured senior wide receiver Isaac Smith. He broke the program record for career receptions with 201 and career touchdowns with 33. Wildcat football moved to 8-2 on the season and 4-0 in conference play.
The men's and women's swim and dive teams had 2 dual meets up in Michigan this past weekend. Results have not yet been posted and will be available on iwuwildcats.com later this week. Moving on over to esports, all 3 teams wrapped up their NECC regular season this past week. The Valorant squad continued their tear through the regular season as they swept Nazareth 2-0 last Monday night. The Wildcats dominated the Pearl map 13-5 and the Split map 13-10 to finish undefeated in the regular season. They collect the #1 overall seed as the Eastern Conference playoffs are set to begin next week. The Smash Bros played their final match of the season last week, where they were swept 2-0 by Purdue Northwest. That team falls to 0-7 on the year. Lastly, but certainly not least, the Rocket League team looked to also complete an undefeated season against Indiana University on Wednesday night. The Hoosiers pulled off a shocking 4-game upset of the Wildcats to deliver them their first loss of the year. The Wildcats now fall to 5-1, yet they still maintain the #2 seed for the Midwest Conference playoffs.
The bowling teams traveled to Flint, Michigan for their second meet of the year. Results will be posted later on iwuwildcats.com. That's all for this last week of events. Now, Caedmon, tell me about the scenario for both soccer teams.
That's right. Both soccer teams lost in the semifinals of the conference tournament this past weekend to Grace. We talked about that earlier. They are knocked out of the conference tournament, but because they both played such great seasons leading up to this point, they're in a great spot to potentially host an opening round matchup in the NAIA National Tournament. We don't know that yet. The committee meets this upcoming Sunday evening where they will release the seedings and the matchups for that, so we'll be on the lookout for that, and we'll keep you guys posted.
What we do know for certain, Wednesday night, the volleyball team continues the Crossroads League tournament, and they will be playing Spring Arbor University for the semifinals. That'll be an awesome game Wednesday night, as I mentioned, and we will recap all that action. As always, I'm Lucas Vargo.
And I'm Caedmon Foster.
We'll see you next week.